Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to another installment, episode 47, in fact, of the premier shit-talking chat podcast, whatever you want to fucking call this thing, between two friends just running their mouths about whatever the fuck they want. That's right, it's the adult table, folks. I am, of course, your slightly inebriated host, Trav, joined as always by my fellow host, the abominable snowman, who's also the vanilla gorilla at this time of year. Well, he's always a vanilla gorilla, but abominable vanilla gorilla this time of the year, especially given what just happened. The one and only Mr. Joey Fetz. How are you doing, brother? Been a couple weeks.
I'm good. I've still licking my wounds from yesterday, but you know.
Well, I was gonna say, look, there's not a whole lot of things that just to get into the big events of the weekend. There's not a lot of stuff we disagree on, but I think we're gonna disagree on this topic, Joey, today.
A little bit, probably.
It's gonna be controversial because it's the big news out of the weekend. I always thought the Pats were going to win, and I'm not one to gloat. You know me. I don't run my mouth. I don't talk all that kind of shit, really. Between you and I, we have a mutual respect. But I am donning the foam hat right now because, you know what? I think I told you so.
It's just a frustrating day, frustrating game to watch.
I mean, it was a frustrating game to watch on either side of the offense. It was.
Well, what kills me is the Broncos did exactly what I thought they were going to do defensively to the Patriots.
They played a great game defensively.
They shut them down. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the only time the Patriots got close to the end zone was when they started in the 12-yard line.
Yeah.
On that idiotic backwards pass by Stidham, which wasn't a backwards pass at the end of the day. They went back and actually reviewed it and after the game, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, that was tipped. We missed that. Our bad."
It was tipped. Yes, I did see it. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Oh, cool." And then you get the tush push on the 4th and 1, where they clearly had Drake May stopped, but they were just like, "Fuck it, first down," and we're like, "All right," and that led to 3 points, and that was the only points the Patriots needed because after that a blizzard set in and basically made the field unplayable. And it became a battle of wills, and it was only a matter of time before Stidham threw another pick. I figured he was probably going to be good for 2 in that game.
Oh, he ended up being only good for 1.
Only 1,
but it was the one that made all the difference in the end.
3 minutes to go in the game, and that's it. So I think I might have a broken bone in my hand. I can't really straighten out my pinky, but other than that, I think I came out of the game pretty okay.
Well, because I had texted you as the game started. I just said, "Hey, may the best team win," and you sent me the horns, like 5 sets of the horns. I was like, "All right, cool." It's
yeah. I mean, it started off good, looked good. Looked like we jumped out to a 7-0 lead, and looked like it was going to be kind of a ball control day, and we were going to do our thing. But as we know in the NFL, you are only one play away from up 14 to being down 3. So. It is what it be. The good news is we'll have our quarterback next year.
Yes.
Back and healthy, so that'll help.
And now you got rid of Wilson's money that you still owed him. So
it's funny. This is actually a Russell Wilson hoodie jersey that I'm wearing.
Let's ride.
It's the only Russell Wilson thing I own. I got it because it was a cutoff hoodie, sleeveless hoodie. Me and
sure.
Sleeves
You're like, oh, sweet. I don't have to cut them off myself and waste material.
Yeah, it came pre-done. So. But yeah, as of today, the Russell Wilson deal is officially off the books. So there's a very bright future in Denver ahead. I'm not overly worried. I didn't think even if we got through the Patriots, I didn't think we were going to be able to win the Super Bowl regardless. I know it's a 1-game thing. Anything can happen, but I just didn't see that being a possibility with the way that our offense is currently constructed.
Well, banged up offensively, not just with Nick's on the running back side of things as well.
We're missing our quarterback,
Receivers.
our number 1 running back, and we were missing 2 out of our top 3 receivers. So, it was a bummer. It was definitely a rough.
Despite all that, it was a very close game the whole time. I was not comfortable the entire time watching it. It was, it reminiscent of the old days of like, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have a heart attack watching this fucking team in the playoffs.
Yeah, I had to remind myself. I kept trying to tell myself, like, don't just stay calm. Don't worry. Like, no matter what happens, just keep it together. And as soon as Nix threw that, as soon as Stidham threw that interception, I pretty much
I
fucking
mean,
lost my
pretty
shit.
much in whiteout conditions, with the Patriots wearing white, mostly all white
Right,
uniform
white
with
on white
just
jerseys.
blue and red stripes on their shoulders and legs. So not much
Yeah.
to rely on is in terms
Offensive
of
guys,
visibility.
easy to see. Defenders, hard to see.
Yeah,
Hmm. Kind of
it's a it's
kind
a
of a
double
tough.
edged sword because I mean Dre did make a couple passes, one of noteworthy to Hollins when the snow was
Yeah,
coming down.
he had the one on the flea flicker there that I think accounted for actually half of his yardage through the air.
Right, which
That was 40 of his
86
86
yards.
yards that
Yeah.
he threw for. Which is I don't ever want to hear Drake May and MVP in the same conversation again, but that's a topic for
Well, hey,
tomorrow.
that's
Um,
playoffs and regular
yeah,
season are separate statistics according to
they
the
are.
Associated
I
Press.
know they're. I know they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a. It's actually MVP has become like a
Popularity
more of like
contest.
who had the best December award. Um, because nobody actually rewards guys for body of work anymore. It's about like, oh, what did they do at the end of the season on Monday night? And that's all
Yeah.
anybody remembers.
Well, they used to announce it way earlier than just before the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, it used to be like weekend, like opening weekend of the playoffs, like right after the season ended, they would announce it. Now that's this whole big drawn out thing, and they,
Yeah.
oh, well, these are the finalists for MVP.
Yeah, exactly. Because
like,
I remember that year that Peyton Manning and Steve McNair were co MVPs, and then Tom Brady beat them both in the playoffs.
2003.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, Brady played like shit in both of those games too, which is fucking crazy. 17-14, I think they beat the Titans, and 24-14 they beat the Colts in the AFC Championship on the back of 5 Adam Vinatieri's field goals and a safety.
You're probably right. That's you with your
right.
autism of knowing sports things and like specific dates
exactly.
kicking in.
I can guarantee you that's right. Yes, Brady had one touchdown. He did have a touchdown against the Titans, a long ball to David. Was it David not Branch Givens, I believe it was. Had the strike down the middle, but yeah, it was. Those were from some fun playoffs. I mean, I went back. It's so funny because like I always you know me, I'm like the number one Tom Brady hater of all time. I think he's the most overrated athlete ever.
Mm-hmm.
Simply not because he's not good. And people like jump down my throat when I say he's the most overrated athlete. What are you saying? He's not good? I'm like, no, dipshit. Overrated means you think he's better than he was. Or he was more responsible for their success than he was. And when I say he's overrated, I mean, when you talk about the greatest quarterback of all time, if anybody who thinks it's Brady, it's like he's untouchable. Like you can't even bring up another.
Well, I think
name.
that depends on how you measure success. Is it titles, which ultimately is what they're playing for,
which is what I always,
or personal stats, which will eventually be taken over by somebody else in time?
My thing always was that Brady is the most successful quarterback of all time, but not the best.
Oh, that's a fair argument to make.
So you can't, because you obviously can't take away the 7 rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I could quickly reduce 7 rings down to 3 based on 4 plays. Like if D Ford doesn't line up with his pinky finger over the line, they don't win the last one in New England.
Sure.
The tuck rule. If Marshawn Lynch runs the ball from the 1 yard line instead of Russell Wilson throwing it. If speaking of that Titans game, if Drew Bennett comes down with that last ball instead of just dropping it outright, there's that. Or if the Atlanta Falcons run the ball instead of trying to throw it in the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl. So there's 5. Like I could pretty much pick out 5 individual plays that would remove 5 rings from Brady, but if you look at Brady's postseason numbers, like he has a lot of bad games in the postseason. A lot of multiple interception games.
Well, he also has a shitload of postseason games too.
He had, I believe, 38, 36, something like that. Or 38 or 36 wins. I forget what his playoff record was. But anyway, yes, he does have a ton of games, but he has a lot of stinkers in there. People act like every time he stepped on the field, he was just like, he just carried the Patriots all the way to the end. It's like, well, no, he got carried by his defense a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
I can remember one. I know of at least 3 conference championship games, 2 AFC and 1 NFC, where he threw 3 interceptions in each of those games, and still won them all, 3-0. So that's when I could sit here and argue and go back and forth. with anybody about Brady and why I think he's the most overrated. Not bad. He's not a bad quarterback by any means. He was great, uh, especially in the fourth quarter and when it mattered most.
Certainly
Um,
clutch.
but
Yeah.
but you can't, I can't sit here and having watched, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, some of these guys that have come before him play and say, oh yeah, he's unequivocally the best. Like, that one's a little tough for me. So is he up there? Yes. If you want to make the argument for him, by all means go nuts. If that's what but you're basically hinging your entire argument on wins, which in football, as we all saw yesterday, is a team sport. Because you can have one guy throw for 84 yards and still win, which was very reminiscent to his predecessor. So I'll give him that. Go out there and suck, make one play, and everybody thinks you're the hero. But nonetheless, I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. But nonetheless, it looked like it was going to be a fun game for the first two quarters, and that blizzard set in, and then it just became a slop fest and kind of a war of attrition. So,
yeah,
hey, whatever. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm excited for next year already. I'm looking forward to this offseason for the Broncos, what they're going to do in free agency and the draft. So, I think the rich are going to get richer now that we have all this money to go play with.
The open
and,
cap space
have
there
our quarterback.
is big.
That's the biggest thing. Like we've already checked off the hardest box to check off, which is, do you have a franchise quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, as we saw yesterday, the answer is unequivocally yes. Because if Bo Nix plays that game yesterday, I don't even think this is a close game. I think this is probably over by half.
I think he would have ran it.
I think especially if the conditions were the same.
Yeah, him on his feet is clearly better than Stidham. So that dynamic is definitely a factor. I think the Patriots D probably could have contained it to a degree. He would have broken away for some plays here and there. I still think it would be a pretty tight game, but maybe Denver ends up winning that one by like a touchdown.
If Nix plays that game, I think there was 3 drives there after the first, like the second, third, and fourth drive of the game. I think it's probably 17-0 going into the half at that point, and then that blizzard sets in, and I don't think New England is able to. They wouldn't have mustered any offense anyway, but. Knowing, hindsight now, looking back at it, one of the things that I think where Nix would have come up better for the Broncos than Stidham did was, everybody's talking about the 4th and 1 when they went for it instead of kicking the field goal, which ultimately proved to be the deciding margin. If you go back to the play before that or 2 plays before that, Stidham takes off and runs and slides, and there's just a DB between him and the first down. It's not like it was some, looming large presence of a man. Yeah. You kind of give him a little hip wiggle and lunge forward, and you probably get the first down there rather than coming up 2 yards short and putting yourself in that 4th and 1 situation to begin with. That's a play Nix makes, and that doesn't even become a factor. So frustrating shit like that, especially when this game is, you're handcuffed, basically playing with 2 hands tied behind your back on offense because you're down, 3 of your best players. It's overly frustrating, but whatever. I'm just hoping Seattle will exact their revenge in the Super Bowl on New England for 2014, and I hope it's a lot like last year, and this one's over by halftime, and I can kick back, relax, and get ready for Daytona.
Hey, well, you know what? Good luck to your Broncos next season. You guys are definitely a threat.
We are coming to New England at some point next year, so that could be fun. I don't know. I'll see how my hand heals up and if I want to potentially go break it again at Gillette, because that seems to be my MO. Although I have matured in my older age. I haven't matured to the point of thinking I can put my fist through concrete yet, but I'm getting closer. Closer.
You'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because they used to be like a bi-weekly occurrence for me, where I would just hit inanimate objects out of sheer anger and frustration. I've calmed that down a lot in my older age, because this sucks now. Like, at least I can make a fist so I know nothing's broken, but my hand's pretty swollen up and it's bruising on the palm. And it's like, oh, that's probably not good.
Well,
But, concrete doesn't move. And I should know that after 41 years on this earth. But apparently I do not.
Well, we all feel that way sometimes. May I suggest punching a pillow, something more yielding?
I've tried it, but I've tried that route before. it's just not the same. Like, I need something to break, whether it's me or the thing I'm hitting. It doesn't matter, but something's gonna break. Like, you just have to. Where's Wes Borland? Where is he? But no, it's just like, I don't know. I have that, like, I can't, like, I have to release that frustration, like, through some sort of, like, physical annihilation of something, even if it is, self-harming in a way. I don't know. It's just something I've yet to mature past.
Well, maybe you'll
on
get there. And maybe
I think so. I think so, because these are becoming a lot less frequent over the last decade. A lot less.
well, that's a good sign. It is a sign of maturity and growth as an individual.
And also, just, it's like, dude, it's a fucking game. Like, goddamn, calm down.
The end, and hey, your emotional and financial investment in anything is valid. You can feel however you want to feel about it, but yeah.
That was one thing that pissed me off about yesterday too, was that I had $5,000 snatched off my plate yesterday. So, my preseason bet for the Broncos to win the Super Bowl was vanished in the blink of an eye, which sucked, because that would have been nice. But I was thinking, if we could get there with Stidham, I would probably just cash it out next week.
Yeah.
And take home like $1,000 or $1,500 and call it a day. Because I don't think, like I said, if we'd gotten there, we weren't going to win it anyway. But yeah, the preseason bet for the Broncos to win the Super Bowl, to get one game from the Super Bowl and then have to lose it because you didn't have your quarterback suck. So that was a bummer. It was a bummer of a hit, but tis the way. What does he say from Trailer Park Boys? It's the way she goes.
Yep, that's the way she goes.
But yeah, I'll live.
Well,
I'll be a little banged up here for the next couple days, but
you're taking it in stride. The
swelling is continuing, to swell, but I can make a fist, so that's good. It's good. If it was broken, I wouldn't be able to do that.
You can make a fist, which you'll use to strike something else that's hard and.
Probably, I think from now on, I'm just gonna just maintain, like, just throwing something, like, just like, I fired my drink across the room. And I was like, that should have, like, normally that's enough, but it was the AFC Championship game, and it was a loss to the Patriots. And everybody who knows me knows that there are two things in life I hate: losing and the Patriots. So losing to the Patriots is just, like, completely unacceptable.
And at home, first time they did that.
Yeah, that was I mean, I know they'll always go on the scorecard as they won in Mile High, but it's like, dude, you played a backup quarterback. Like, come on, like, we all know that wasn't a real win.
Okay, yeah, you can throw your technicalities in, your asterisks. That's fine.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have more. I might as well just have like the asterisk may as well be like a hot button on my keyboard, because I use it so often. So.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't in a convenient place really on its own.
Beep, beep, beep,
just
beep.
hotkey that thing. Well, yeah.
It's like that fucking lizard meme from TikTok. Lizard.
Yeah.
Like, that's me with an asterisk.
Well, Shift 8 isn't that far. Easily hit.
No, it's not. It's not. But it's two buttons. I want one. Just boom.
Hell yeah, yeah. Just.
Or as one of the old callers into my show used to pronounce it, ass tricks.
I think that's something he does.
Yes, it was. I was like, oh, asterisk. I was like, you mean like when you shove a bottle of wine up your ass to do a handstand? That's what I consider an ass
trick. Yeah, an ass trick or a butt chug. That's an ass trick.
Yeah, butt chugs. Yeah, that's an ass trick. Or, if you light a fart on fire, that's an ass trick.
It certainly is. There's no way it isn't.
Right. I mean, it's just not possible, sir. But
seeing as, you've shown some signs of growth, another sign of in the opposite direction, on the spectrum of growth, if you will, is Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are going there to quote unquote peacefully protest. And they continually have this narcissistic, I've brought this up before, mentality of thinking that they're the main character in like a vigilante movie, and thinking they can do whatever they want without impunity or repercussions whatsoever. It's almost like a hive mind thing with them right now, where not only do they think they can do it, they think that all of them should have the right to do it. Because
Correct.
No matter how wrong they are in doing their actions, they can't see that there's a lot wrong with these scenarios. And In the blink of an eye, things like this can happen. It's unfortunate, but just
It
like
is.
with Renee Good, easily avoidable if he had just stayed home.
Also, yes.
Uh,
I mean, so was it Petty, Donald Petty, Don what was his name? His first name? I forget his first name already. I don't.
it's
Shit.
Pretty or Pretty.
Pretty. That's what it was. Pretty. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Alex.
His first name is
Yeah.
Alex. That's what. There we go. Alex Pretty. He was doing pretty good.
Well, that's a funny meme now. Is it's like how are people in Minnesota feeling right now? It's pretty good because Renee Good.
Yeah.
And then I responded that with Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm gif of pretty good. Because he says that quite a lot in the show.
So it's funny because like yesterday obviously was a big football day social media wise, so I wasn't planning on posting anything other than like football stuff, but I felt like I had
well
to.
It was unavoidable, and I was seeing it all day Saturday, and I was watching the UFC fights, and I was still looking at X while in like the first match of the main card, and I was like, what am I doing? I need to put the phone down.
I did the same thing. Like I'm sitting there like yesterday, I'm watching the NFC Championship game, and I'm like finding myself more focused on like talking shit back to people online because obviously my phone blew up at the conclusion of that game. Which is a good reason. I love that people still think of me first when the Patriots win or the Broncos lose. It's good because that means I'm living rent free in their heads. But I'm like sitting there scrolling on Twitter, and I had to do the same thing. I was just like, dude, just put the phone down, watch the game. What are you doing? And but yeah, so I put a status up yesterday, just honestly, like, because the amount of people that I have seen that are like just completely outraged by this guy getting shot, and I get it, it doesn't look good. The video I saw, he had a cell phone in his hand, and someone had said they had disarmed him, and then he pulled the cell phone out, and I think the cop thought he still had a gun.
Which he very well could have if he's already got one with multiple magazines.
And he shot him because he was resisting.
Yes.
And one thing I want to make absolutely clear before I even say what about my whole little point here, this guy was not peacefully protesting. The protesters showed up after he was shot. He was part of an armed group of vigilantes that were there to intentionally interfere with a federal operation.
Yes, and that's why I get into it with these people. They're like, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't impeding them. He wasn't in the middle of the street. He was. Oh, he was just.
That was exactly why
he was just recording him. Oh, he was likely live streaming that to his chat with the other people that he coordinated with, because he was actively, before this all happened, other people saw him like calling out signals to like have other vehicles or people on foot follow the law enforcement agents, and then potentially also setting up like blockades in front of them, or just other people, whether it be in vehicles or on foot. He was there with a clear intention. You don't just go there with a loaded weapon.
Right. And listen, and there's no crime against carrying a loaded weapon with you. Like that's perfectly fine. That's well within your Second Amendment rights, and I have no problem with that. And all like the people that were saying like, oh well, he shouldn't have been carrying a gun there. Like no, he was totally fine to be carrying a gun there. Like that's totally within his rights. He is very much allowed to carry a firearm legally. However, you have to understand that when you carry a firearm, whether it's legal or not, if you put yourself in a position to come into conflict with the police, whether or not your firearm is illegal, they don't really care.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at that
All
point.
bets are off. And you have to make it known that you have it. The whole point of this, my status that I put up yesterday was like, just basically all I said was that like, it is super fucking easy to not get shot by the cops. Yeah. Like in 41 years on this earth, I've never even come close. It's very, very simple. You just, you listen to what they tell you, and you go, and I get it. Sometimes that it's not right. And God knows you and I covered the Karen Reed case ad nauseum. Like, we know that not all cops have your best interest in mind. There are shitbag cops out there that are going to abuse their power. Fine. Yeah. That's all fine and well. But at that point right there, your fight is over. Round one goes to the cop. Yes, he's going to arrest you.
You're going to be charged. Round 2 is when you go to court, and that is where you fight back. Now, I don't necessarily agree that that's the way it should be, because for a lot of us, the process is the punishment, where they know we're going to get off, but they're just making us jump through the hoops of going to court and hiring a lawyer and costing us money and all this other stuff. Like, I feel like that, all those things, like anytime something like this happens, you should, like, it should be like, okay, boom, like the officer was wrong. Okay, fine. Like, now the onus is on the officer. Like, now the bills should shift to the officer. Like, you should be able to sue to get your money back and stay, and not have to suffer a financial penalty because this cop was being a dickhead. Now, I know that does happen in certain cases where people will go back and they'll sue, but it should be like an automatic. Like, it's like if a woman cries rape and then comes out and was like, actually, he didn't rape me. I just made it up because I was mad at him. Like, boom, jail. See you later. Like, there should be no, like, that shouldn't even be like, what are we even doing here? Like, you're trying to ruin someone's life by creating a false claim against them and then making them defend themselves against sometimes something that is indefensible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so again, I don't have a problem with this kid carrying a weapon, and being where in Minnesota and being at if it was in fact a protest, that would have been fine. However, this was not a protest. Like I said, they were trying to impede a federal operation, and they were going there armed, not because they were. I don't believe they were going there simply, they were carrying a gun in, simply for self-defense. I think at some point that if push had come to shove, they were probably going to start. There was a decent chance they were going to use it offensively
if given the opportunity.
If given the opportunity. But I just don't. I get, like, it doesn't look good from a law enforcement standpoint, because now this is the second person in 2 weeks that's been shot by a federal agent.
Yeah, just over 2 weeks.
And I see a picture the other day, like an ICE officer had like one of his fingers bitten off.
Yeah.
After, like, during a scuffle. And I'm like, this is what these guys are dealing with right now. So please forgive me if, like, I'm not, super quick to be like, to feel bad that you got shot in the back, or you got shot by a cop because he mistook your phone for a gun and you were in a place that you shouldn't have been in to begin with. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're going there to protest, that's one thing. If you're going to stand on the sidewalk with your sign and say, ICE, get out, like, that's fine.
Yeah,
as well.
Whatever.
If you're going to physically try to impede people from doing their jobs, like these people were, and that people will say, like, well, he wasn't trying to do any of that. He was trying to help a woman who was trying to impede the officers.
Yeah, who
got shoved to the ground.
Also, more,
and then he ran over to help.
Also, she's most definitely part of the group that he's was a part of.
Again,
yeah,
I don't think, like, no one should be getting shot. However, these people are they're putting themselves in these situations, and it feels like it's intentional. Like you said, they're the main character in this fucking video game that they're playing. But what they forget is that there is no reset button. There is no respawn. Like, there is no fucking, oh, I died, I gotta go back to the hospital. I gotta go start back at the hospital or start in the graveyard.
Yeah, respawn.
Like, nah. Yeah, dude, like, nah, you're a ghost for reals forever. Like, you did this to yourself. You put these men, these officers, who are already out there who are trying to do their job, and you're making it much more difficult for them to do their job because for whatever reason you're simping out for fucking, rapists and murderers, drug dealers, child traffickers, the whole nine, which again is fascinating behavior. And you're simping out for them, and then you're putting these cops in a situation where they have to make a quick judgment, and you never want to have to make a man with a gun rush to make a decision.
No, because it
almost never ends well.
In the heat of the moment thing, everybody likes to play, Monday morning armchair quarterback after reviewing the footage, and same with the Renee Good case. Oh, well, he didn't have to do what he did, and he didn't get hit by the car, and it's excessive force to shoot.
Though. He did, because we have this thing called the internet.
Yeah.
And Twitter, where like, you know, people are allowed to post videos now, like of whatever they want for the most part.
Yeah. Pretty
And
much.
you know, it's not censored anymore like it was 5 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. So now we can actually see the guy get hit with a car. And we know he was hit with a car because we see it in the video.
Yeah, and they're still denying that to this day, which is absurd because it's already been 2 weeks since all of the angles have been shown, and including his cell phone footage. It's clear as day. Like,
and you know, and again, Trav, and this guy kind of goes back to like, I don't know, and this is just like me personally. I don't give a fuck that this guy got shot. I really don't. And it's not because I think he, you know, the I'm not on the side of ICE, and I'm not like, okay, cool, like, yeah, you should have shot him. Like, no. He put himself in this position, he got shot. But after the way I saw these people react to, you know, when they were celebrating Charlie Kirk get murdered on basically live television.
Yeah.
They were irate that Donald Trump turned his head at the last second and didn't get his brain splattered all over a stage. You know, they cheered and made Ashley Babbitt's killer a hero.
Yeah.
And promoted him and propped him up and said, well, she shouldn't have been there. You know, all these people, all this same shit, all these people that did all those things now expect us to be like, oh my God, this poor guy, like, well, this is gonna stop. Like, no, sorry, but that ship sailed. You know, it sailed when you guys were mad that Trump didn't get killed. But it really, really, really became like basically an impasse when you celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. And now I have people telling me, like, trying to rewrite history. And like, nobody celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. I don't remember seeing anybody celebrate his murder. I remember them using his own words, but I don't remember anyone celebrating. I'm like, really? I'm like, here's a 15-minute video of people literally celebrating Charlie Kirk getting killed.
Wasn't
like,
that long ago.
Like, we saw people get fired over mocking Charlie Kirk's death. Like, how are you going to sit here and tell me, like, with a straight face that didn't happen? Like, yes, it did. But these people are so brainwashed, Trav. They're so delusional, and they've gone so far off the deep end that they don't care. They will lie, and they will lie comfortably to make sure that they quote unquote win, that their side wins, that they look like the ones, because that's all it's come down to. I mean, we've taken virtue signaling to a whole new level now.
Well, it's now in complete denial of objective reality. They used to be delusional before, but now they're completely not viewing reality as it is. It's
right, and these people are fucking evil, right? Like, when I say I hate liberals, like, yeah, I hate your politics, but like, if your house was burning down, I would still help you get out, and I would still run in and get your pets and try to help you as best I could. When liberals say, like, oh, we need to be kind and treat each other, they would rather end my bloodline.
Well, they'll say that but then also say, like, yeah, I hope all, conservatives and Trump supporters are murdered horribly, and all these other things.
Right. Which is why, like, when I saw, like, friends of mine or people I thought were friends celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, saying he was a huge bigoted piece of shit, and all this other stuff, and I was like, really? I was like, because that's weird, because you're friends with me, and I happen to align with Charlie Kirk on a lot of things. So what gives? Like, you gonna tap dance on my grave too? Like, should I go out in untimely fashion? Like, and I think a few people kind of caught themselves and stopped and thought about it for a second. Was like, wait a minute. Yeah, he's right. But then a lot of them just doubled down on it, and they're like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, fuck you. Oh, you like Charlie Kirk? Well, then you're a piece of shit too. Like, okay, cool. I'm glad I know where you stand then. Like, see you later. Like, there's the door. I'm not going to miss you. I don't really.
Well, that's the difference between, like, guys like.
I mean, I had one of our friends that I've known since 6th grade unfriend me on Facebook today, because she was upset that I voted for Trump.
Another one.
And another one. I'll send you the screenshot. I won't say her name on air because honestly, like, we're not even really friends.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, like, I mean, we were friends for a little bit, like, after high school. Like, I worked with her for a little bit, but it wasn't somebody, like, I was never, like, super close.
Right.
But but like, we were cool.
Sure.
You know, we worked together for a little bit, and it was what it was. But but yeah, again, and then she's on a tirade and she's going back and forth, and my wife is still friends with her, so she can still see all her posts. And she's gone like completely off the deep end with this, like with the Trump derangement syndrome. Like it's insane. And the things she's saying, she was arguing with somebody else, I guess, on that status that I commented on, which got me unfriended. And she said, and she's like, you can just tell, like, she's like, oh, he's this racist, bigoted thing, and like another girl was like, just okay, what did he say? And she's like, well, where do you get your news from? Because all you have to do is turn on the news, and it's like, oh no, I'm just asking you to like tell me one thing, like
specifically,
give me one reason. Give me a specific. I'm not doing this again with you Trumpers. Like that's all they ever have to say, because they know once they get into the nitty gritty of it and you start asking them for specifics, much like that fucking broad from the sail off last summer with me. You know, I'm like, you can't, like, you can just ruin their day with one simple question. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. Because they have no morals, they have no standards. All they do is they exist to virtue signal and try to be like lie about what a good person they are.
The moral superiority that they think that they have.
They're probably a pretty big piece of shit in real life.
Those types are the most, because they're too altruistic about things. Those people are usually guilty more so than the people that they're yelling at the loudest. It's
like, one of our, the one friend that we've talked about a bunch of times that's like stolen money from me, beat my friends for money, like had all these problems and like blamed it on his addiction and all this other stuff. But it's like, yeah, but you keep doing it. Like, but then you get on Facebook and you act like you're this, on this moral high horse, and you're like, it's just like, dude, no, I'm not doing that with you. No, I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. And that's why I would go so hard in the paint, and not necessarily against him. It was more to like trigger all the people that like all his little sycophants that would be like, oh, you're such a great person, like you're so good, like, because they all glad dick each other and tell each other what awesome people they are, even though they're all fucking human bags of shit.
Echo chamber.
And they're just, they're hypocrites, and that's exactly it. Like one of my brother-in-law, I was talking to him one day, and we were discussing social media, and he's just like, oh yeah, he's like, I get in arguments, like it was my two brother-in-laws that were over. They were my wife's sisters where their husbands were over, and we were talking, and it was just the three of us, and we're just sitting there and we're just like shooting the shit. And he's this one in particular is a big lib, like hyper lib, and my other brother-in-law is one of us. And so we're just the three of us are kind of talking, not politics, but like, a little bit of politics, a little bit of social commentary, if you will. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I get it. He goes, I go on Facebook. He's like, if I get in arguments with people, whatever, this, that, and the other thing, he's like, I'll argue with them for like 2 minutes, and then I just block them. And I'm like, really? I'm like, why would you do that? And he's like, oh, I don't need to hear from, like, I don't want to hear from people like that. And I'm like, really? I was like, I don't block or unfriend anybody. I was like, he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no. I was like, I want to know, especially if I don't agree with you. Like, those are the people that I want to hear from the most, to be honest. Like, I don't want to live it, because I don't want to live in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
I want to know what the other side's thinking. I want to know how they feel and what their thought process is and where they're at, because I mean, it's the art of war, right? Like, know your opponent. The better if you know your enemy, you study your enemy, you know all their weaknesses, and you know what they're going to use against you. It's the old 8 Mile B Rabbit, Cheddar Bob strategy.
Exactly. That's the thing. They don't. At least some of them, a lot of them will use that tactic, and it's an act of cowardice and an unwillingness to have a conversation.
But he was floored that I don't block or unfriend people, and I'm like, absolutely not. I was like, how am I going to know what you're thinking? And he was like, well, why would you care? I was like, so I know how to beat you in an argument, first and foremost.
Yeah, instead of just saying some generic rhetoric that he didn't come up with himself, drop it on you and then block you immediately so you have no rebuttal.
Right, exactly. And then they strut around like they ha 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 ha, I win. And it's like, well, no, you didn't. You just look like an idiot, and most people would agree. But that's the problem with liberals these days, that, like you said, they live in this echo chamber where they'll do that, and all of his little, like I said, all the little friends will come around and they'll be like, oh, you did such a good job. You showed him, like, like that woman in the sail loft, when she went back to her little friend group across the bar and was like strutting around like a little peacock, and like she did something because like she called me an asshole or whatever the fuck she said. And I'm like, lady, you didn't win anything. Like, I just made you look like a complete fucking idiot because I asked you one simple question and you spazzed out. Like, it's this is not rocket science. I mean, it's just so frustrating, and it's because at this point now, like, and especially with the Minnesota stuff, like we've gotten to a point now, Trav, where the left cannot fathom that the right gets a say in how we govern this country.
Yeah.
And they throw these shit fits whenever we do something that we voted for. Like, I voted for Trump because I said, yes, I want to cut down on illegal immigration. I want the borders closed. I want these people deported. As somebody who babysits criminals for a living, I see what these guys do all the time. I know what they're capable of. And then I see them inside, and then I see them leave, and knowing damn well that they're going to go right back out and do the same shit. Now, that being said, I voted for Donald Trump because I liked his stance on immigration, which was basically the number one thing he ran on.
And he's handedly taking care of that already, like almost immediately.
Absolutely. And I voted for him for the economic and the immigration policies. Those were my two biggest reasons for voting for Trump.
Yeah, same.
So I voted for him. The left cannot understand that we voted for someone to enact these enforce these laws and enable these agencies to carry out these deportations. I don't. They cannot fathom it, and they throw these. They get so emotional, and they throw these tirades because they're like, no, I am the smart one. I went to college. I've got some stuff you should read. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I don't care. Like, I also went to college. I just didn't lap up every little bit of bullshit that my sociology professor told me. And I wasn't tricked into feeling bad about something that I have nothing to do
Yeah,
with.
in other words, you weren't indoctrinated and take everything that they said at face value. The whole idea of college is to expand your horizons and your ways of thinking, not to be pigeonholed and essentially brainwashed into following one way of thinking or ideology. You should be questioning the professors if you feel like you have a disagreement with them. And maybe they explain it to you better and make a good argument. Maybe they don't.
I do not recall a single time that I pressed one of my professors who was a liberal on a liberal issue, and they gave me a valid answer, or they gave me an answer that made me say, you know what? Maybe you do have a point. It was always emotional, and they would be like, but we're not doing that here today. We're not doing this today. We have other things to cover we need to get to. And I'm like, isn't that the whole point of college? Like, we have a whole semester to
if they could block you like they would in real life, like in social media, that's the equivalent of blocking.
Correct. Exactly. And I think I've mentioned it before. My sociology teacher from BCC, my for freshman year of college, and he was just like, trying to convince us that like inner city poverty in Chicago was the worst crime against humanity, and I was like, no, it's not. I'm like, I just remembered 9/11 happening 2 years ago, dickhead. Like, that seemed like a pretty big issue.
Was that nothing?
Right. Well, some people did something. Okay. But no, these liberals, like you said, like I have this one, they go there to get indoctrinated, and I have this one guy at work, and he's this OG of OGs. He's been in the department for, I want to say, like 30 years, or coming up to 30 years, something close to it. And we're talking one day, and he doesn't say much. He's a man of few words. He really doesn't talk to a lot of people, but we're all in like kind of like this one big room. We'll call it a break room. And we're all in this big break room, and we're eating our lunch and just shooting the shit. And he starts talking about college, and he starts talking about his daughter who's gone to college. He goes, yeah. He goes, I don't know what the fuck he goes, because he was mad because he's still working to pay off her college. And he's like, and I don't know what the fuck she learned in college other than how to be a communist. But anyway, and like he just threw it in there like this one line, like very subtle little zinger, and I was like, this guy fucking gets it. Like. And he's just like, yeah. And he goes, I paid, whatever, however many thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for my daughter to go to school just to come over on Thanksgiving and fucking argue with me about politics. Like she has any fucking clue what's going on in the world. He's like, she's lived this sheltered life because of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made sure that she's, grown up and was well off and all this other shit. So she's never had to struggle a day in her life, and now she wants to lecture me on how the world works. Like he's like I don't fucking know. And it was just super fucking funny.
Well, because
But he was like, yeah,
she's
the communist thing was what got me, because it's true. They just it's an indoctrination camp now.
yeah, and that's not to say that there aren't universities and campuses out there that don't do that, but the vast majority of them do.
There's a lot more that do, and even though, like, you know, even if you are on like a more like conservative campus, a conservative campus by our definition is still pretty heavily left leaning. Or like I'm sorry, a conservative campus by their definition is still left leaning, in my opinion. Because it comes down to the individual teachers, right? Like, it's like the campus itself, like the school could say like, this is our stance, you know, like, let's say like, I don't even know if this is true or not, but like, let's say take Texas Tech, for example.
Right.
You would think Texas Tech would be a pretty conservative base, like, you know, have a pretty conservative student base and be, you know, pretty right leaning on a lot of things. But those individual teachers within Texas Tech, they're hired. I mean, there's what, 40,000 kids that go to that school.
Yeah. Way more than are on the football roster or any other sport. Yeah,
so like, you know, you're talking about like all these kids that go to that school, they need all these professors. There's no possible way you're going to staff a school that big and not get some liberal fucking pieces of shit running classrooms. And it's not to say that all liberals are bad. Like I always say, like, we think liberals are people with bad ideas. Liberals think we're bad people with ideas. That's the difference. Like I think I used a similar analogy to what I said before about, like, you know, if your house is burning down, I'm still going to help you.
Same. And I have plenty of friends that are left leaning, none that are like hardcore, because I just simply can't be friends with them because they don't want to have a conversation. They can't have that back and forth that doesn't have hostility behind it from either side. But the ones that I can, we have our little discussions here and there. Most of the time, we don't bring any of that shit up at all.
That's where I think I'm at right
now.
But
when we do, like, it's always constructive. It's calm. We each make our points, and then agree to disagree for the most part. And then it's just like, hey, I don't dislike you because of what you said or what you think, and vice versa. And it's like, all right, yeah, shit, fuck it, let's get another drink, like that sort of thing. Like. And then it's done. Unfortunately, too many people on that side are incapable of having that kind of talk, relationship, or however you want to describe it with other people, that they might just have a voting disagreement at first, and then they realize they straight up hate you because of who you voted for, simply on that. And more often than not, too, with these conversations I have, we have more in common and agree on more than maybe either of us thought we would going into it. And, you know, we're better off for it. And it's just like, see what happens when you just talk.
Right. And not only that, but like what gets me about it, Trav, and that's where I'm at with a lot of my my friends that are left leaning. We don't talk politics. Because they know where I stand, I know where they stand, and we know that, like, whether
it's not going to be good.
They know, they know I don't respect them enough to. I'm sorry, I know they don't respect me enough to listen to what I have to say and take it as like I know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They automatically think like, you just watch Fox News, you're dumb, you just don't know, you're just stupid. I love you, but you're stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, okay, that's not the case. Whereas, like, at least if they wanted to bring something up, I'm very open and very welcoming to conversations with people that are not on my side. Those are my favorite ones. Because I love to tell somebody that, you know, like, I love the look on somebody's face when you tell them that, like, oh, no, actually, no Capitol Police were killed on January 6th. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Or that or showing somebody, like, the Very Fine People video.
Yeah. How that was taken out of context.
Yeah, and they're like, wait a minute, what? And like, I've had friends, I literally had one of my friends like throw his hands in the air after like a couple of these and be like, I don't even know what to fucking believe anymore. And I'm like, you're being lied to. I'm like, I'm not lying to you, dude. I'm showing you the truth, and I'm showing you the difference. I'm giving you the proof. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing it with your own eyes. Now you can not believe your lying eyes and continue on with the mainstream media's narrative that all this is true, or you can put a little stock into yourself and think for yourself and say like, hey, wait a minute, that ain't what I was told. Like, that's not right. Like, so I love those conversations, but they don't respect me enough to have those conversations with them. So a lot of the times it'll be like, no politics today. No, I'm not doing this. No politics. I'm like, why not? And they're like, I don't want to ruin the day. I'm like, not going to ruin my day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get upset about it. You will, because you're an overly emotional baby.
It doesn't have to ruin your day unless you allow it.
Right. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not every day. It's like a Terminator 2 when like they tell Miles Dyson that he's responsible for World War III and the apocalypse, and he's like, it's not every day you find out you're responsible for 6 million or 6 billion deaths. And he's like, I think he took it pretty well. Like. You know what I mean? It's not every day that like you get told that like everything you believe was a lie and your whole house of cards comes crumbling down. But I don't. I have a hard time, especially with my friends that are like hardcore left. Like, I know how they feel, and again, this comes back to the Charlie Kirk thing. Like, I know how they felt about Charlie Kirk. They may not have vocalized it, but they vocalized it in the past. And they said it in the past, and then a lot of the smarter ones just kind of shut up when he died because they were like, ooh, like, secretly I'm super happy this happened, but like, if I say that out loud, I'm gonna look, I have friends that are on the right that are not going to be happy with me, and I might lose a friend or two out of it. But so part of me, like, and maybe this is just a cynic in me, but I just call it realism.
Yeah.
If you're a liberal and you hated Charlie Kirk, then you hate me. Like, period, end of story. So I can't really get past looking at people like that. Like, I do have to say, I do find myself like reaching out to my friends who are on the left a lot less in terms of like when we throw parties, like who I invite to my house, like who I go to lunch with, stuff like that. Like, I hate to say it, but like it's come to that. And it's not because I can't handle it. It's because they can't, and they've already drawn a line in the sand where like, you've already told me how you feel about me. So I'm no longer going to be the one to keep this friendship going. Like, I know how you feel. If I died tomorrow, you would be celebrating.
Agreed.
That's what you said.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point we made up every time we brought up the Charlie Kirk thing. And that's why we, made a heavy emphasis on it when it happened, is because you and I have said far worse things, both on here and just everywhere else on social media and in person, because we're both guys who will absolutely say everything that we do online.
There's nothing I will not. Rule number one I had for social media: I will not say anything on social media that I wouldn't say to your face.
That's just a code of life for me. Like, that's.
Yeah, well, that too.
It didn't become a thing until social media became a thing and way more prevalent. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Exactly same club. But it's just they don't do that, and when you call them out on it, it's a problem for them. And we're outspoken, but if they are celebrating or even happy that Charlie Kirk was assassinated like that, then they would more than likely feel the same way about either you of us, and we are not big celebrities in any stretch of the imagination in the same way that Kirk was. We don't have that kind of influence. So we're even easier targets. For somebody to get mad enough to try and do something. We don't have security. We don't have cameras following us all the time, where everything's pretty much documented for the most part. And so if that were to happen, that would be even more personal because the circle is so much smaller. Right. And I agree with you. Yes, that drew a line in the sand for me on certain people, because I saw some true colors come out at that point, and I was like, okay, now I really know who this person is as an individual when it comes to all this stuff, because it's very telling how people react to certain things like that. And I can't say I blame you. I'm right there with you on that as well, man. It's sad, but it's a part of the reality right now.
It's
And
yeah, unfortunate to say it's an unfortunate part of the reality we live in now, and it's like, like a lot of times, like I'll see my friends, and I know they're hyper left or whatever, and we'll just sit there, we'll shoot the shit about sports or something completely off, off politics, whatever.
yeah,
Because again, I know how they feel, and there's only a certain few of them that I know that like, they're like, okay, like I might disagree with you, but I don't want you dead. You know what I mean? Like there, but there is, but those are the ones that are. That I would say. I say they're more based in like in they're more cerebral based and less emotionally based.
hmm
Like they might see things even though I think they're wrong, but they're the ones that would entertain a back and forth with me.
yes,
You know what I mean? Like where we could have like okay, like we can agree to disagree, but we're still going to
yeah. You're
argue
being
because we like
you're both parties are
because
being
we like
rational here, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're not seeing eye to eye on everything, but at the end of the day, we're still cool. Like it's like, all right, that's
yeah. And so like I have a couple of those friends and stuff like that, and like things along those lines. But like at the end of the day, like I do unfortunately find myself like not extending like myself to my friends that are on the left as much
hmm,
anymore. Like I don't go out of my way to hang out with them or call them or whatever. And it's not because, and I don't think I'm doing it intentionally. I think it's just
hmm,
kind of the way like things have gone. It's just like, okay, like I don't have much in common with that person anymore. I'm gonna go a different direction. Like,
fair.
and I think it's just like I think this is part of the natural like the natural flow of things in life where like you just grow away from people in certain instances. But
Sure.
like, I mean, I'm sure I have friends that I would consider that they're very I would assume they're just apolitical, that probably have pretty strong beliefs on a lot of things, but they're just not vocal about them.
Yeah, and that's fine
Because
too.
I
Some
mean,
people, try to keep that close to the vest there, and
and
they're not as vocal
sometimes
about it. That's totally fine.
I sometimes think that's the way to go because I feel like it would just make everything easier.
hmm
But I'm not here to make it easier. I don't care about easier. Like easier is not it's not what I'm setting out to do, if you will. I don't give a shit. Like I told that friend of ours from high school, that she said like you're a terrible person and you're disgusting. I said, well, I'm not a I'm not a terrible person. One, and B, and two, like I don't care if I disgust you. Like you're not sucking my dick. I really don't fucking care. Like it's as simple as that. Like and not for nothing, but you're pretty uneducated on this whole thing. You're a hyper emotional, overly, probably on fucking 10 million different fucking medications for God knows what. And you probably got 6 different personalities. Like I don't know, like fucking figure, make something up, whatever you want to pull. And I don't really care about your opinion. It holds no value to me. So if I come at you, you should consider this as me doing you a favor by acknowledging your
Yeah,
existence.
it's not much
Because
to ask
normally I
for.
would, no, because like that person in particular, like I would normally pass over her posts and just like not even gonna do it. She's clearly not smart enough to have a debate, or she's not doesn't have the intellectual ability to carry on a conversation at this level. So I'm just not gonna do it, and I'm just gonna let good enough be good enough and see you later.
Yeah,
But yesterday I felt like I was maybe because of the game, but I was in a mood, and felt like fighting a little bit, so I decided to launch a few salvos, and that's fine with me. Like if that's the end result, then like nothing on my end was lost. I'm not gonna not going to bed being like, oh damn, lost another friend on Facebook today.
yeah. And at
Rats.
the
In
end of
fact,
the
I
day,
celebrate.
you didn't go out there looking for trouble with somebody, whether it be law enforcement or not. So you vented, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no harm, no foul. And if some people don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you. That it's
Well, my favorite type of person is Trav is the one that puts up a political post and then gets mad at you for responding to it rather and like challenging it rather than just agreeing with them. And they're like, well, you came to my page. I'm like, Yeah, that's what Facebook is.
You made a
Dummy. Like, it
public
shows me.
post.
I made a post on a public forum and it came up on my fucking feed. Like, I didn't go to your page. I didn't type your name in, seek you out, and then be like, "Oh, I wonder what so and so is saying about today." No, like if you think I care that much about you, then you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
But no, those are my favorite though. The ones that get mad at you and they're like, "Well, you came to my page."
I didn't ask for your opinion.
I didn't ask for your opinion.
That's true. You didn't ask for it, but you're putting this thing out there on a platform of a type of thing, that being social media, where you should expect other people with other opinions to chime in.
Yeah, so
it's an open invitation that you're basically agreeing to, whether you realize it or not.
And for somebody who holds themselves in such high regard as an intellectual, like, you certainly don't know how public forums work.
Yeah,
it's alarming how many people don't understand that process and what that is. Like, no, you put something up on social media, you're putting it out there for the world to see, good, bad, or indifferent. They're allowed to comment.
Yeah, they're always shocked by it. They're like,
"Oh, why'd you came to my page?"
I was like, "Oh, well, I never. How dare you come onto my page on my post that I made in a public forum on the internet where anybody can see it? How dare you come here and say anything that goes against it?" It's like, you literally put it out there. This is something that can happen, and unless you're a total bitch and you block me, there's nothing you can do about it. So, do you want to talk, or you want to just be what I think you are, a little bitch, and block me? Just do it now. Prove me right.
Yep. And like, and again, like I going back to like the Minneapolis thing, with this Alex Pretty, the amount of people that are so quick to judge a situation based on partial information, I think has become a real problem in this social media digital age that we now are firmly living in.
Well, there's that picture that's been shared by a bunch of people on X, where they have, it looks like they're, the law enforcement agents are pointing the gun directly at his head while he's downed.
Oh yeah, they have the side by side with the German, like from,
but yes, exactly. But the AI, it turns out that picture is AI because one of the officers that is like on the ground next to him is completely devoid of a head. Like it just doesn't exist. Yeah. So while the outcome was he was shot and killed, that picture is not accurate.
No, they're trying to. But again, this is what they do, right? They have to sensationalize it, and they have to make everybody feel emotional about it, and that's what they're doing. They're just trying to make it. They're trying to make it so that, oh my God, look at what they did. They executed this poor man, and it's like, no, they didn't.
And they're playing the heartstring thing again, just like they did with Renee Goat. Oh, she was a mom of 3. Well, yeah, it turns out 2 were taken away.
Yeah, not a very good one.
And with Pretty, whatever. With him, he was an ICU nurse at a VA. He always was helping people and blah blah blah. I'm sorry, but one's profession does not dictate who they are as an individual, and it certainly does not dictate their actions and or free will. He could have been the biggest philanthropist in the world. Doesn't matter. He showed up that day. He was doing what he did.
Yep.
And ultimately pay the price for it. Again, it's unfortunate.
And, I don't know to what degree he fucked around and found out. Because again, he could have just been. It could have been more. This one, I would be more inclined, like, not knowing all the facts. I think this one, you could probably safely, like, kind of arrive at the conclusion that, like, yeah, this one was probably just more wrong place, wrong time, like, bad series of events that led up to, his untimely demise. And again, I don't believe anybody deserves to be killed over this kind of stuff. That's just not a road I think anybody really
and I agree with that
wants to go down, because once you go down that road, there's no coming back, and I'm not down for that. I like options,
which
I'm
absolutely. And this brings me back to the point that I made after the Renee Good thing, because I said it then and I'll say it again now. This is what that side of the political spectrum wants right now. They want this unrest. They
Absolutely.
want more
They're
people.
literally coaching it into you.
They want more reasons to be mad and to keep these events going. It's not going to end anytime soon until real changes happen. And I mean that not just on a federal level, because clearly they're opposed to that. It comes to the states. And right now, I believe it's not crazy to think that this theory would be accurate, but in Minnesota specifically, this all is an outcome right now because of the fraud allegations.
Oh, absolutely.
It is. Tim Walz will get up there and throw out tampons to all the men that dress like women in the crowd and be like, "Hey, look, keep up the protests.
What a good job I'm doing.
But we're standing down. We're not sending in our guys. And we don't want ICE here or Homeland Security or Border Patrol officers. We don't want any of them here. Keep protesting peacefully." But then this shit keeps happening, and the more it does happen, the more people are looking at him and paying attention. At least the ones that care more about social justice bullshit and enabling and harboring and funding illegal immigrants and being complicit with tax fraud, apparently, for billions. They'd rather look the other way on that and make a big deal out of helping those people to their own detriment and even demise in 2 cases at least. Well, 3, but 2 that have been, big national things.
Well, it's funny, and it just it comes down to hypocrisy, right? And that's what the left is basically thriving in at this point, because they're so shame has no impact on them.
Well, because they don't really have any morals anymore, so you can't feel shame if you have
the same people that are
morality.
super mad about ICE deporting illegals are the same people that were cheering, when the Boston PD and the FBI and all these other people were kicking in people's doors in Watertown searching for the Boston Marathon bomber, several years ago. And I remember when that was happening, and they were they were going through people's houses and in their yards and all this other stuff. And I'm so proud of our guys. They got him. They got that son of a bitch. And I'm like, yeah, no, I kind of have a pretty big fucking problem with that. That sets a pretty big precedent. You can't just go fucking kicking in people's fucking front doors looking for, because you think they might be harboring a fugitive. You need a warrant for that shit. There's process. I don't give a shit. If a cop shows up to my door and says, "Hey, we're looking for a fugitive. Is he here?" And I say no, and the cop bulls past me into my house because I'm no, get the fuck out of here, dude. I already told you no. What do you think? I'm going to fucking shelter a goddamn fucking guy who just blew up the marathon? The fuck out of my house, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But those same people were cheering that on in 2013, and now they have a huge problem with it, 13 years later. They're like, oh, no, you can't, we can't allow federal agents to just, do their job. No. And it's oh, but that was fine. And I know a number of people that were liberal, because I was working down in Peyton-Aram at the time, and they would come through the restaurant when I was working down there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is great." They were fucking kicking in doors and telling people to get the fuck out of their way because they weren't stopping until they found this son of a bitch. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a problem to you? Really? And they're like, no, they were looking for a criminal. He blew up the marathon. Fuck him. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, he set off a bomb at the marathon. I get that. But why are you now all of a sudden allowing cops and agents to just run roughshod through a neighborhood as they see fit through private property and dwellings with no warrants and no just cause?
Yeah, and I'm not for
a probable cause.
The notion that they're going to give ICE that ability, essentially. I'm not for that, because that's the same thing.
No, God, no. But here's the thing, Trav. They're not going to do that. That's not what they want. That's not what ICE wants to do. ICE wants to get the people that they're being told to get and get them the fuck out of the cities. Now, again, these, like you said, these people, Renee Good and Alex Pretty, getting killed is kind of been the best thing to happen to Tim Walz and his whole fucking slew of corrupt politicians in Minnesota, because it's taking all of the attention off of Nick Shirley's video and all of the fraud and all the Somalis.
Well,
Like,
at least to the general masses, yes, and a national scope, of course, because this is
right.
bigger than that. It's
Because, well, now they have something to
sensationalism,
deflect.
but he already dropped out of the gubernatorial race, so he's not gonna.
Mhm.
He won't be the incumbent nominee. So he's already done with that. Right now, it's to pivot and shift all the focus off of him entirely, especially with the fraud stuff, and
Mhm.
to this. That's why he's complicit with letting it happen and then pushing the blame on the federal level
Right.
and not assuming any of the responsibilities. Like there was a press conference on Saturday where he spoke, and then I think it was probably like the chief of police in Minneapolis or somebody, some head of the, the local state law enforcement there, and he was like, yeah, so an actual like riot sort of thing broke out after the incident happened, and we
Mhm.
were trying to take care of it. We were, and then we were told to, well, then we couldn't, and we had to let the feds come in and handle it, the federal officers, because we simply could not contain it. He's like, but right before that, he said that he was like, we're gonna, we're gonna do our best to handle this on the state level. And then somebody asked him, well, what happened after that, after the shooting? And he was like, oh yeah, we couldn't handle
Yeah,
the
right.
numbers
It was
of
like
people.
instantaneous disaster.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, no, that's the other like kind of kicker with this whole thing, this whole situation is like good and pretty, or pretty and good, however you want to put it in
pretty
order.
good.
Pretty good. Would both be alive right now if the Minneapolis PD were not being instructed to stand down and stay away from all this stuff. If they were working with ICE, like they typically would be in any state that's cooperative, they would be there to handle these crowds and keep these people from doing the dumb shit that they're doing and keep them from getting killed. But again, I believe this is part of the bigger, overall overreaching plan for Tim Walz is let's see how many people we can get shot by ICE agents, because then we can use that against them,
Yeah.
and we can use that to take the attention on and the heat off of everything else that's going on.
Hopefully that's that doesn't work. I mean, it's working right now for them, but in the grand scheme of things, hopefully
It's
he's
working for the people
prosecuted
that
to
are
the full
already
extent.
on their side.
It's yeah,
The people that are already on their side are sitting there going like, "Oh my God, this is incredible! Like, look at this! They're shooting people in the streets," and it's like, but the rest of us are like, "Yeah, what did you expect?
right.
Like, you hit a cop with a car,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be. There's a reasonable expectation that you're going to be met with lethal force.
Absolutely,
You know,
yes, yeah.
if you're armed, if you're an armed agitator." And you get apprehended and you resist arrest, there's a decent chance that you're going to be, if they can't disarm you, you're going to be met with lethal force. Like, this is not new. This is not rocket science. This is not brain surgery. None of those, however you want to put it. Like, this is just called common sense. Like, this is the death of common sense, really, is what we're seeing. And these people are literally getting themselves killed for rapists, murderers, child traffickers, drug dealers, the whole nine, fraudsters, whatever you want to call it, like list the crime. They're getting themselves killed because they're simping out for these
Well,
people.
and that's how it started,
And
specifically
it's
this time in
insane.
Minneapolis because of what Nick Shirley brought to light, and now it's become these two deaths of these who they undoubtedly have made martyrs. Uh,
Oh, 100%.
and needlessly, like again, they none of these people need to be there to interfere in this stuff, but regardless of whether they disagree with it or not. How many more people were deported and killed too under the Obama administration with ICE and
Yeah.
Homeland Security and
I mean,
Border
Obama
Patrol?
literally gave Tom Homan the medal.
Yes,
Like, that actually happened. You can go look it up and watch the
yeah,
video.
that's not
Like,
an
that was a
AI
thing.
generated image. That fucking
No.
happened.
Yeah. Like, you got to understand, like, this was a real thing. And
But they were
but
they
they'll
no,
never.
that wasn't even that wasn't newsworthy at all back then. It
No.
never came up.
Nope.
Maybe on like a conservative outlet, like maybe it was mentioned on Fox News or somewhere else, like
Mm-hmm.
that. But it certainly wasn't in the mainstream media. You never heard about it until well after, when it was like, well, hey, wait a minute, everybody's saying this shit about Trump. Take a look at the statistics from your guy Barry. Like, way worse, and you
Yeah.
didn't care about it then. You,
No, because again, and it just comes down to, it doesn't matter what happens. If Trump does it, it's bad, no matter what. That's all they care
it's
about.
irrational hatred. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Orange man.
Everything
bad.
he says
Even
and
if he
does is the worst
something
thing ever.
great, yep. If he does something great, they can't and won't acknowledge it because they can't give him credit. So it's like, again, and I've seen our liberal friends go off about it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Like, they just spout half truths. They read the headlines, like the 5-year-old kid that was detained by ICE the other day. And it's like, and then all of a sudden you find out, like, oh, actually, no, they weren't detaining a 5-year-old. They went to apprehend his father, and his father bailed on him. So the 5-year-old was left in ICE custody because they were like, well, we're not going to leave this kid out in the fucking negative 12-degree weather. We're going to bring him inside with us. Like,
what any other police officer would do of any branch.
And I was just like, and my initial reaction was like, oh, wow, look at that. Like, ICE is handling more fucking kids than all the Somali daycares in Minneapolis combined right now.
That's
like,
funny and true.
I was like, and yeah, it was fucking true. Like, but they get so upset and they're like, they detained a 5-year-old. Like, what? I thought we were getting rid of the worst of the worst. And does this kid look like the worst?
Yeah, like they cuffed the kid, fingerprinted him, threw him in a holding cell with like.
Yeah, with like grown ass men.
Yeah,
like, yeah, go figure it out, 5-year-old. He's like, I just want a color, and you're like, fuck you.
No, absolutely not. It would be the same. It'd be the same. It's like when they're like, oh, they're separating their families these kids from the parents at the border if they're coming in illegally. Okay, one, assuming that is like a family unit, a legit one, and not a trafficking thing going on. Right. If you were driving your car and got pulled over for any reason, say OUI or whatever, and you get detained, the kid doesn't go with you to jail.
No, they sure don't.
The police will take them and then get into contact with somebody to come and get them, like next of kin, other parental guardian, what have you. But no, that child is not detained.
No, they're just they'll be temporarily held in the custody of the PD while they figure out what the fuck to do with them.
Yeah, they're not going with the parent in the G-pop.
Cops are in the fucking business of just abducting children because, like, fuck it,
Yeah, the kid is not going with the parent into the holding cell.
Got me a nice mixed one here.
Yeah, the kid's not going with the parent into the holding cell, or watch them get booked. That process, none of that's happening. No, they're
not designer toys that they like to hang out and, like, keep and hang around with. Like,
right.
Oh my
they're
God.
not they're not Labubus you hang from your purse.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing. But again, that's what it comes down to with the modern leftists these days, is that they're just hyper emotional. They don't read past like, as soon as they see something that they feel like confirms their preconceived notion of whatever the situation is, that's it. Like, they're onto it. Like, boom. Like, that's it. That's all I got to hear. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Like, and then, the correction will come out and it's like, well, actually that was wrong. And they're like, don't care. It was right at the time. And that's all I care about. Like,
yeah,
wait, what? Like,
it's like, just hang on for more information to come out. All I've been telling people on X most of the time, in the couple days that this has happened, is like, look, this is how it looks to me. Not all the facts are there, but bottom line is he shouldn't have been there. Why do you have a gun on him if he's protesting? And why do you get involved?
I mean, why he had a gun on him? Again, I don't care that he had a gun on him. That's fine. Like, whether
he was that's fine. Yeah, you're right about
that. To have that gun on him. But at the end of the day, though, Trav, like, you've got to understand, like, if you do go to a protest and you do interject yourself into a situation where you are interfering with a federal operation, you've got to know, like, I'm putting myself in danger by having, like, in more.
That's one of the first things they teach you in gun classes is you have to know your situation. And if you are knowingly going into something like that where law enforcement is there, you have to know how things could potentially play out if, the situation goes tits up.
right, and you decide to, throw your hat in the ring and say like, oh, I'm going to defend, I'm going to be a patriot today, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, good luck with
I
all
mean,
that, and
did
it's probably not going to end well,
did
but
you wake up
have
this
fun.
morning choosing suicide by cop? Because I mean,
I mean, it really does come down to that. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, did you guys really, how did you think this was going to end? I guess that's my biggest question for these people is like, what did you think was going to happen here? Did you think that you were going to pull, like, your gun was going to save you, or was it going to put you in potentially more harm? Because yeah, like, ICE agents, even though they believe that ICE agents are out there randomly executing people for fun, that's actually not the case. But even if they were, let's say hypothetically they were, by you being armed and you only, and you're gonna go with your 51 rounds, and your Glock with your your red dot on
yeah.
it. Like, are you gonna go fucking kill, 30, 40 ICE agents, or do you think they're probably gonna get you pretty quick?
Well, I think
Like,
it comes down
I
to
know you think you're John Wick, but you're not.
yes.
Trust
I
me.
think it comes down to that, and also them also maybe thinking, well, if I do get killed, maybe I'm the one that causes the scene where my
Right.
other friends that are here, the people I'm in communication with, decide that that's enough, and they just start opening fire on law enforcement. Do
Which,
they want to be the spark, the one that actually does set off the quote unquote whatever they want revolution? Uh,
yeah,
I mean,
the shot heard
it's
around the
not
world.
it's not revolution. It's straight up. Uh, I mean, terrorism. Like
It's suicide, is what it is. Like, and that again, I don't know what these people, like you said earlier in the show, like these people all think they're the main
mhm.
character in whatever movie it is or video game that they're in, but they're not, and they're just simps. They're just soy boys, beta simps. And what I don't think I think they've got to kind of, like, we've got to kind of look at it this way too, is like, most of these people are paid protesters, right? Like, we all know by now that organically there's not this many people are not turning up to these events to
Well,
protest. They're
I
being bussed in. We saw it a million times, especially a couple summers ago
yeah
in the summer of love. Like, we know they're being bussed in by the thousands, paid. Like,
yeah.
at
There's
what point
evidence
do
of
those
that.
people be like, yeah, at like what point are those people going to be like, hey man, like, you're all about it, and I know like you feel like you're gonna go out blazing in a blaze and all this other stuff. Like, I just came here to make my $250 today and get the fuck out. Like, so I'm here,
Hmm.
but like I ain't going down like that. Like, like, so those people aren't gonna have your back either. Which, again, I don't know what kind of revolution they think they're gonna start, but it's gonna be one that's tamped out pretty quickly.
Yeah, when I've dealt with Antifa directly in at a protest, they
Mhm.
blatantly paid homeless people to come up front and get in our faces. Uh, and these people were on drugs. They didn't, or drunk, or both. And they
Yep.
had no idea. They were told what to say, and they were clearly homeless people. Because some of them were still holding their like homeless signs, like, oh,
Yeah.
please help homeless. Like,
I'll take any change you've got.
they're just yelling out
God
Nazis
bless.
at
Thank
us
you.
and all this, all the basic rhetoric. And this is back in
Right.
2018. Uh, and I was just like, dude, do you even know what you're saying? He's like, they gave me $20. I'll say anything
Yeah.
for 20. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Fine. Fair enough. Good on you.
I was like, well, then just
Hope
get
that
out of here.
hope that $20 gets you all the heroin you need to
Mhm.
die.
So it's yeah, and it's bigger than that too. But people like Preddy and Good, they were part of groups that were actively involved in wanting to do this stuff. So I don't think
Correct.
maybe they were paid, but I think they actually truly believed in what they were doing
No, I
and
think
thought they
there's
were
I think
doing
there's a
fighting the
bunch that
good
truly
fight.
believe in what they're doing. Yeah, that's where I think you get the ones like Good and Pretty. Like, they're the ones that actually believe in what they're doing, and then they're the leaders, and they're the ones that instruct the paid protesters what to do, because the paid people are just like, yeah, man, whatever, like, just tell me what to do. Someone tell me what to do, and they're like, all right, we got you. Like, the petty and good, those are what we call the useful
Yeah.
idiots, right? Like,
Hmm.
the upper middle class white people, that are trying to explain to the brown and black people how stupid they are. in a way that doesn't sound offensive, you know. And they're like, I know you're really dumb, so let me explain to you that you actually aren't smart enough to get your own ID, and that's racist. It's like, and the black and brown people are
Huh?
like, I've had an ID my whole life. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? They're like, mm-mm. I've got some stuff you should read, okay? And that's
And
like that's their whole
it's
fucking
the
attitude
white
about it.
savior complex they have, and they don't realize that they have it.
Oh, the white knight savior complex.
And if they
It
do
is
realize
just
they have it,
such a
they
real
just
thing.
vehemently deny it, and then
Absolutely,
continue to
because
try to overcompensate for.
and they well that's when they launch in their tirade that like I'm empathetic and I care about
Ugh.
people and that and you don't, and it's like shut the fuck up, dude.
It's
Just go.
it's all so tiresome.
It really
it,
is.
So, as far as my conclusion, all that is, yeah, it's awful that it happened, but I understand why it's happening because it is almost manufactured right now by the
Yeah.
state of Minnesota.
Yep. This is all very avoidable if Tim Walz just allowed and Jacob Frey allows the Minneapolis PD to do their job, which is crowd control and work with ICE. None of this would have happened. But they know better that they can't. They know they're fucking cooked, and they're going to probably end up going to jail when all these fraudulent daycare centers get exposed and they find out that they not only knew about it but were encouraging it and help orchestrating it. So
and then honestly, the ironically sad thing about that too, if that does happen, which I do believe it will, is that means these people, died in complete vain, like for absolutely nothing.
Oh, absolutely, and that's I think the sad part. But they won't be it won't be remembered. They'll be painted in light where it's like they didn't die in vain. They died fighting against Donald Trump, and you're like, no, they died. They died basically fighting a war on drugs, like
and child rape and
yeah, like they died fighting a war against
human trafficking and
trying to prevent like rape and murder. Like I don't know, it's not as good of a look as you think it is. So take it for what it's worth. But
yeah, if that's the hill they want to die on, then
will not look at you favorably.
yeah, if that's a hill they want to die on, then okay, but that's a fucking embarrassing one to do so.
Well, that's why they keep pounding the table and saying like, we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of history.
I hate that fucking line. Jesus Christ.
Yep. It's like well, you haven't won anything yet, so no, you're not. And judging by the way things are going, no, you're not. You haven't been on the right side of history for the last decade. Don't see why all of a sudden the tables would flip now. But
yeah, not much has changed at all on in those regards. Like it's
yeah, like nope. Everybody still looks at you like you're a total dipshit. So
no, they keep wanting more and more crazy shit. So it's again, the cheese has slid off their cracker,
to say the least.
Their grasp on objective reality is laughable, or if at this point also non-existent.
I was just saying, I don't think they have a grasp on reality anymore. Their reality, Donald Trump is like the worst thing that ever happened, and this country has gotten worse and worse and worse. And even though everybody is going to be doing better economically over the next 3 years, they're still saying like, I don't care about money. It's not about the money for me. It's about saving people and being a good person and making sure that, I do the right thing. And Donald Trump is evil and everyone who supports him is evil. And I'm like, no, that's not true at all. Actually, I'm fairly certain, like Laken Riley's family would probably love to have a sit down with you and be like, sweetie, I don't know if you know this or not, but my daughter was raped and murdered by an illegal. Okay. And, you're not going to sit here and tell me that, illegals aren't a problem because they're a very real problem for those families of people that have been murdered and raped and
brutally,
permanently injured or disfigured by these people. So, no, you're not going to tell me that's not a problem. I'm not going to believe you. And I don't believe you. And,
it's like you said, them virtue signaling, they want to have the higher moral ground, but at the end of the day, they don't actually give a shit because what are they actually doing about it other than crying, yelling, and then potentially putting themselves in harm's way?
They scream into the void, and then they wait for somebody like you or I to comment on their status or say something to them, and then they fire back with a vicious little tirade, and then they block and unfriend us or whatever.
Yep.
And then they think that that's it. I won.
It made their day.
I got rid of another Trumper.
That's all they have.
You didn't get rid of it. Right. Like every day I become more and more radicalized in the way that they think that I am now. And I'm like, you have no idea how not radicalized I am. But like I said, the Charlie Kirk thing kind of put me over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But even before that, Trump's attempted assassination, that was pretty close to getting me over the top. Yes. And then Charlie Kirk happened, and it was definitely the push that I needed to get over the top. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it is what it is, Trav. Like we said, these people are fucking unhinged lunatics, and they're not going anywhere, unfortunately.
I mean,
but the good news is, I think the 51% has realized that we don't have to listen to the 49% anymore, and that tidal wave is starting to really kind of push back. Like you're seeing a lot less, cancel culture shit now for people on the right, comedians, whatever, people getting fired from their jobs for this, that, the other thing.
Yeah, the pendulum's kind of swung.
It's swinging back towards more normal times where, you can say something and not have to fear for your livelihood over it.
Pretty much.
Once again, we talked ad nauseum about that in September. Like, I don't think anybody should be fired for a take that they have. Because again, these places love to say like, well, you represent the company, 24 hours a day. I'm like, no, you don't. No, if you pay me 24 hours a day, sure. But you don't. I represent you while I'm there. So,
yeah, you better be paying me all the time then. If I'm constant, then I'm always on the clock if I'm always representing the company. So
yeah, like I can put on a happy face and I can go to work and I can talk to anybody, liberal, Democrat, Republican, conservative, it doesn't matter. Whatever label you want to give yourself, libertarian, those guys are kind of fucking weird, but I can talk to anybody while I'm at work. Whatever the job is that needs to be done, I will tolerate everybody while I'm at work. While I'm not being paid, I should not have to sit here and worry about whether or not if I say something on Facebook, it's going to get me fired because my company is going to face backlash from some retard who didn't like what I had.
Absolutely, because that's your free time.
Right, exactly. So, again, I don't believe in that, but we didn't make these rules, Trav. They did.
Exactly. And I think that's a good point to leave off on.
I couldn't agree more.
I have nothing else to say, and I also have to piss.
I think that was a very good natural conclusion to the show.
It was. You know what? I think we went over the things that we had to. Really just the main one, besides our preamble. Yeah, I said what I had to say on it, and I stand by it.
Same. And I will continue to stand by it, and I will continue to say what I have to say on it. And yeah, that'll be my stance going forward. So I feel bad that 2 people have lost their lives.
Same.
But then again, I feel bad that, I feel just as bad for those ICE agents that were forced into those situations. Because taking a life, while the person who's killed is robbed of, their most important thing, which is their life. But the person who pulls the trigger a lot of times has to live with those consequences.
Yeah.
And even if they are found innocent in a court of law, it can really wear on somebody mentally and ultimately claim their life as well.
True.
So it's a shitty situation all around.
Yeah, it neither should have happened. None of this should be happening right now. Again.
But don't put yourself. But pro tip. See what I did. See what I did right there.
Yeah.
See that. See how I can do that? That's called taking a breath. My goal is to be able to take those every day. And if I don't show up to an ICE protest and impede a federal operation, there's a good chance that I'm not going to get shot by a cop. So, again, very easy.
100% chance that you wouldn't. Yeah. If you just don't go, 100% chance.
Absolutely.
So yes, with that,
I don't fear ICE kicking in my front door and just blasting me in the chest because they were like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah. He's too big and white.
Yeah, fuck him. Douchebag.
He's exactly who we're looking for.
Yeah, right. All right, Trav. Well, hey, good show, bud. Looking forward to next week already.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure there'll be plenty in the news cycle to get
we got a whole nother week. And also, folks, Joey, you doing R1S1 tomorrow?
I am.
Folks, if you like sports, listen to Joey's other show. Row One, Seat One,
Yes.
available wherever you listen to podcasts and also on YouTube.
It is. And I'm sure it'll be a fun show. Not for me, but it'll be a fun show for somebody.
Yeah, if you're a Patriots fan and you want to lament, take joy in Joey's lament.
Yes. You'll be able to see and hear my tears.
Tune in for that. Call in for that too.
Yes, we do have a live line that you can call in. So I'm sure I'll be getting plenty of hate calls tomorrow.
Hey, you'll take it like a champ. Who knows?
I mean, it's what I do, bro. Nothing else to do but just talk sports, and sometimes you get to do the shit talking. Other times the shit talking finds you. So.
But hey, that's why you're one of the best that I know personally, at least, that can do that. Yeah, you're a great host and personality in that regards.
So very good. Well, I appreciate it, bud. Thank you for the shout out, and yeah, I will. I'll talk to you next Monday.
Okay. Until then, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Peace out, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Indeed. Later.
Later.